So we've got a tank on now, which was nice and simple. It's quite a tight fit. It's obviously a stainless tank, so it's incredibly hard. What you do is you offer it up, you get the hole about correct with the centre bolt, and then you pull the whole thing down into position, and then you can get these tiny little M2s in on the front. They're lined up nice, and it makes it really nice and solid. I did put a great big blob of silicone on here, because of course this is a water tank. You want to do anything in your powers to keep it from leaking. And he's just, yeah, put the top on.
Put 4 little 2mm screws in the top to hold that filler rim on, and then the whole thing drops on like so. I'm going to just clean through these M3 and 2 screw holes there, and it needs to go on with a little bit of sealant so that it stays watertight.
Yeah, the tank obviously stops here, so the top of it here is open, and the same on the rear. So what we're going to do is just run a little fingerful of clear silicone in here, so that when you get all the splashing about inside the tank, it doesn't come out the tank. So in the drawing it does say to fit the dome, but actually I think we're going to leave the outer dome off. We have put the little stanchions on, so it's there. Yeah, they're all ready to go. But I think what we'll do is when we get everything together and get all the superstructure on, I want to be boiler testing it regardless. And when I do a boiler test, I'll have that outer dome off just to make sure there's no leaks there.
Right, well, there was an item missed off page 15, which is these 2 little hinges. So they've just been nutted through the smoke box there on the front. Before we can fit the top to the tank, we've got to put some sealant in. It needs sealing round these bottom corners all round. Although they're welded, the seams here aren't actually watertight. You need to seal those. We've also got to finish off the water gauge. Now the boiler's in situ, we can safely take these parts for the water gauge fitting. So that's the pipe which will go in there, and there's the little
Lever.
bush and lever to go on it.
And don't forget the 4mm ball. Yep.
Yeah, we'll assemble that part now.
Excellent. Right, well, let's get started. This is day 3, so we're hoping we might actually complete the build today, and then it will be off for testing. So that's these tiny little Allen
Little grub screws.
little grub screws. They are really tiny, but
yeah, there's 3 of them round the outside, plus the handle. So you have to take the handle off, fit the grub screws, and then you can turn it far enough to get up to the ones right round the back. And that should be closed, and that should be open.
excellent. Okey-doke. So I think actually page 15 and 16 are all completed. Ah, did you put the drain? Yep, the drain's in the bottom of the tank.
Yes, we've got the drain on the tank with a little lock nut at the top.
I think we've discussed that we were going to leave the dome off. No point in putting the outer dome on for the moment, not until we're a bit further along. So yeah, that gets us into page 17. So chimney, smoke box door, couple of brackets in 17, and then we'll be looking at pumps for page 18. So yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't actually say it on the drawing, but I'm going to put a little bit of corking around this chimney. The main reason is you get quite a lot of condensate come through, even with the auto drain cocks. And any water that runs down the chimney then runs down the smoke box, which looks a bit horrible. So we'll put a little bit of black sealant on there as well, get this chimney into position. I do actually need to seal the smoke box as well, but it's such a nice tight fit between the boiler lagging sheet and the boiler and the smoke box. I don't think I'm going to bother with all around the ring. It's really very tight. I think we'll just get down inside here and around the exhaust, and then also around the main steam pipe. We'll do with just sealing that up to make sure that you get a nice draw on the fire.
Yes, you've got to keep the vacuum in the smoke box.
Yeah, this is a pretty mucky job, but I'll get one screw, pop that in, just trying to line it up by eye so I don't make too much of a mess. And I'll go in with the other. What I'm trying to avoid here is moving the chimney around too much. I don't want it to squidge out everywhere until I'm ready to clean it up. So I'll get on the nuts on the inside, tighten that down, and as it comes down, I'll clean off all that excess before it gets everywhere.
I'm just filing a little bit of a start on this smoke box door dog, just to get it to line up a bit more easily.
It's like putting a little chamfer on it, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there she goes.
You want that door to be nice and tight, don't you? Keep your vacuum.
Yeah. That's the top one. We'll do the same again for the bottom one. So the last part on page 17 is this little lamp iron that goes on the top of the smoke box. I'm just going to fit him on. This is where the nut runners come in very useful. They're just the right size for fitting, especially when you get the right one.
Helps a bit, doesn't it?
There we go.
Excellent.
There are two little dogs that go in there to keep the door closed. And that's the last part on this.
Yeah,
There they are. Just need to make sure they line up with their threads. Yeah, they could probably do with a little bit of a start on them. We'll be opening this up again to finish the silicone anyway, so we'll just get it started.
The next stage is building the hand pump. Build the hand pump, and then you've got the other bunker back and the mounting block for it all to go on. So that will all be on this side here. Yeah, so there's actually no putting together of the pump because that's complete. Even though it's shown exploded in the drawing, it comes to you as a complete, ready, tested unit.
It's a complete, ready to go unit, and it sits on this spacer. So we're just bolting it onto the spacer, and it will then go in the bunker back there. But I won't mount that yet because it's got to go right through the footplate. But that's where it's actually going to be positioned, and then it all goes on the loco on this side. So bunker back there, pump there.
All right, let's get it bolted on.
That's all right. That runner.
And that keep getting mixed up on it here.
5.5 in 8.
Try that one.
Yeah.
goes on nice and solid. You can imagine you're putting a lot of power through this hand pump, especially when you're under pressure. You've got to give it a bit of welly. You want the thing to be solid. So this is on a nice solid block. Keeps it really rigid.
Yep, there we go.
I've got some washers and lock nuts to go on this one here.
All right. Let's do that one underneath. That's better. Okay, that bunker's on pretty rigid.
Excellent.
Is there anything else on this stage?
No, that is it. It's a nice quick one to get through, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're straight on to ash pan grate dump pin, and then we're into some of the pipe work. So this shows the locomotive upside down to put the ash pan grate and dump pin in. I don't think that's quite necessary. You should be able to hang it off the back of the bench, get used to its positioning. Get the ash pan and grate into place. You've got the stainless grate, ash pan and pin. What we're going to do is just push this ash pan, the grate up into the bottom of the boiler. And if you just carefully push it in slightly wonky, you can wedge it into place. And then you can drop your ash pan on, look through the holes, and when you see daylight through the tube and the pan, that's it. We're just going to go through here and we just knock the grate. It drops back into position. And there you go, you're ready to go.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah, certainly is. Yeah, so we've got a few pipes here. Mainly all the pipe work for the left-hand side of the loco, which is the hand pump.
And the blower.
And
So
the blower.
looking at the diagram, we've got pipe 3, so section 20, pipe number 3, and this one goes between the hand pump and the tank.
I see.
And it's going to go through that little hole there, and onto the pump there. Might need a little bit of aligning. And then this end will go onto the drain.
These pipes are fairly soft because they're copper. You don't want to kink them. So just go easy if you want to bend them. You can also re-anneal them at any time as well.
Yes, that one's not quite in line, so I'm just going to tweak that with the pliers.
So the copper tube are pretty soft. Most of the moving about you can do by hand. But this is a classic example. That nut isn't going to go on very straight there. But what you don't want to do with the pliers is get a hold of the copper pipe and start twisting things about. If you do that, you're going to put a real nasty kink in here. So if you very carefully hold it on the olive end, you should be able to just do a little bit of adjustment on it, straighten it up. And then you can get your nut to come nice and straight. You should be able to just do that up.
Yes, if it won't do up by hand, don't force it, because it will be cross-threaded.
Yeah.
Just a little patience will pay.
Yeah, and you don't, any kinks in the copper pipe is obviously going to restrict that flow of water. So whatever you do, try not to kink it. Well, actually, despite getting that nice and straight and fitting, we've realised that this pipe we put on the top of the pump, which is not correct. So the feed needs to be on the bottom. So we can just pop that back out, move it back down to where it's supposed to be. Readjust that pipe a little bit to get it straight. And the same thing, I'll pop that on nice and straight. There we go. And then the next pipe is number 4. That's going to go from the top of the pump through the check valve. Just offer it up and have a look. It's pretty close. So this one needs a little bit of a tweak. Very carefully on the olive. Just pull it around to get it into your position. And that is going. I'm not going to do it up too tight. And then I can just really adjust this pipe here. Get that to the bottom of the check valve. Straighten her up a little bit. I'm pretty happy with how that goes. You can tighten all of those into place.
Yeah, that's the hand pump pipework sorted.